Counting their cash, they flaunt it at the camera. This group have clearly made a lot of money. But how? They're waste operators, clearing out homes, gardens and building sites. But Sky News believes that some of the rubbish this group was paid to dispose of legally actually ended up being illegally dumped, fly-tipped. We've been investigating the boom in waste crime, described as the new narcotics, and blighting farmers and landowners all over the country.
My first line of defence, which were these gates, as you can see they've been bent and broken.
The steel gates and concrete bollards which surround this farm in Berkshire cannot keep the criminals out.
It's the bane of our life really, fly tipping, blocking up and unblocking the entrances, constant battle.
There's obviously an element of real organisation here and criminality.
We've had it on locations where organised gangs have actually broken into locations, put their own security man there and had fly tipping in from out of London. They filled the warehouses up to the eaves with contaminated waste.
It's costing them tens of thousands of pounds a year.
We're here to grow food, to feed the nation. We don't want people blocking it with fly tipping.
Waste criminals will be paid to remove rubbish, but instead of taking it to the tip, which costs money, they dump it for huge profit in places like this. Over the past 8 weeks, Sky News visited these 3 large fly tip sites, just 3 miles apart in Hertfordshire.
We're in Hartwood Forest, just north of St Albans, a normally beautiful public space. But overnight, someone or a group broke in through the gates here and dumped lorry load after lorry load after lorry load after lorry load of rubbish and rubble. And they drove off, leaving it in this state.
I haven't got any words that I would be able to use at the moment to describe it on camera. It's absolutely disgusting. We're out here working most of the day, you know, various jobs, probably about as hardcore about 20 volunteers. And you can imagine some of them don't know about this yet, but make them cry, I think, you know. Yeah. It's horrible.
We're on the hunt for the people behind this, and while looking for evidence, we find a huge amount of personal information.
We're just looking in these bags for anything that gives us evidence or information about where this could have come from. Invoices, names, receipts that can help us work out who's done this.
Soon, in a second site in a nearby field, we find both names and addresses.
But you can sort of see it all over there.
Builder Charlie, not his real name, says he paid 2 men with a van £300 to remove waste from a recent project.
Yeah, you can see the bags in here. Oh man. Yeah, that's the bags, which I believe is ours.
He tells me one of the men had an official Environment Agency issued waste carrier's licence.
Did you ask them where this would end up, or did you just presume they would do it right?
Well, I presume they're doing right, like everyone else we have.
And how does it feel to stand here to know that they've just pocketed your £300 and done this to the environment?
Disappointed.
Do you feel cheated?
I do, yeah.
If individuals were paid around £500 for each van load removed and dumped, then this third field of more than 40 loads could have been worth around £20,000 to them. But the landowner, a farmer, says it could cost him nearly £50,000 to clear it up properly. With evidence now from multiple customers, Sky News' data and forensics unit were able to track down a group of waste carriers working together.
They post a lot of videos on TikTok. We found a video of them and they were travelling down Coleman Green Lane, the same lane as 2 of the fly tip sites that we found on the edge of St Albans.
In another TikTok video, they're getting rid of a coffin. We found a coffin dumped at the 3rd and largest fly tip site. Videos posted by the group on TikTok show them clearing out properties, waving huge wads of cash at the camera and unloading waste. One clip appears to show them shovelling debris into what looks like an abandoned warehouse, another clearly on the side of a country road. We tracked one member of the group to a housing estate in London.
We believe that waste that you've been paid to remove has been dumped illegally in the countryside. Can we ask you some questions about that?
About what?
Fly tipping.
Well, I don't do rubbish removals.
You don't do rubbish removals? Well, what's this?
The airbag is not for rubbish removals.
What does it do?
I do for work.
For
my
work,
Yes.
okay. Do you know this man? On TikTok, that coffin looks a lot like a coffin that was found there.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of thing that we've been finding, which is why we wanted to ask you these questions. Because it's a huge problem and it's
I'll do it.
costing the farmers, the local council a huge amount of money. Have you ever fly tipped? Have you ever made money from fly tipping?
No, I don't do rubbish removals.
Okay.
How do you make your money?
By work.
Okay.
Painting.
He denied all knowledge of the dumping. Waste crime is costing us an estimated £1 billion every year, but enforcement is patchy and the legal punishments often lacking.
If you put it in a field, it's free. If you take it to an HWRC or to a landfill site run by waste operators, then there's what's called a gate fee, which then has to be paid per tonne effectively of waste that you're depositing. So it's difficult often for regulators to catch them, and then when they are caught, penalties are, if they're not done in the right way, are low, and it's not a deterrent for them.
Last year, local authorities in England dealt with 1.15 million fly tipping incidents, a 6% jump on the previous year. But just 63,000 fixed penalty notices were issued, a 5% drop, while the average court fine was only worth £530. A council spokesperson said fly tipping is a criminal offence, punishable by heavy fines and even imprisonment, and the rubbish involved can be a health hazard, harm the environment and cost a considerable sum to clear up. When we have the necessary evidence, we will not hesitate to prosecute or fine offenders. We have been taking robust action against fly tipping for some years. Every time waste is illegally dumped, someone, the landowner or taxpayer, has to pay to clean it up, knowing that before long, it'll happen again. This is a national battle, one that we're all losing. Rachael Venables, Sky News in Hertfordshire.